On today's show, where Kevin Durant is right about the upcoming Phoenix Suns season, and Jalen Green and Mark Williams' odd fit back into this starting lineup, and where does Malawatch play this year? All that and much more in this edition of Locked On Phoenix Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show mornings on YouTube, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m., and as well as a Arizona Sports, but more specifically, Phoenix Suns credentialed media member. Thank you so much for making Locked On Suns your first listen here on this beautiful Monday night, Tuesday morning, wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and a reminder that Locked On Phoenix Suns is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So hit that subscribe button and do what thousands of other Suns fans have already done. Become an everyday and get locked on the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. All right. So we got a lot of things to get into on this edition of Locked On Phoenix Suns. Kevin Durant had some comments made about the Phoenix Suns. Someone basically tweeted out, I think kind of tongue-in-cheek, the Jordan Goodwin buzzer beater in the third quarter. The Suns bench is obviously going lively. You know, got the finger guns up in the air. They're all excited. They feel like they're more connected than they were last year, which I think is unequivocally already true for a lot of reasons. That Suns team last year, I think, pretty much all hated each other outside of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. I think those guys were buds, and everyone else was kind of just on their own island. And so someone tweeted out, the Suns already won the trade. Thanks, Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant, as he normally does, chronically online, rabbit ears, here's everything. Basically said something like, no expectations, better vibes. And that's exactly what I've been saying over the last couple of weeks with the Phoenix Suns. I'm not denying that Kevin Durant is unequivocally right, and I want to bring up exactly what he said because I quote tweeted it. Kevin Durant said to that fan responding to that comment, no expectations equal better vibes. Enjoy the season, brother. And Kevin Durant's not wrong. Expectations do make for a harder season. Now it's different, right? The only expectations that really can derail a season and quickly and unravel are championship or bust expectations. Championship or bust seasons, as I've been saying for, I got to be a month now on this show, championship expectations are the absolute worst. They're the worst. Championship or bust expectations are the worst. Because there's only one outcome where you come out on top. Every other outcome is an unequivocal loss, is unequivocally a loss. And so over the last couple of seasons, the Suns had championship or bust expectations. That didn't happen so much for me last year. I didn't fall for it again, and I couldn't buy into Tyus Jones and Mike Budenholzer all of a sudden making this team championship contenders. But I did think they were Western Conference Finals contenders. I thought they were deeper. I liked the addition of Tyus Jones, maybe not as their starter, but I liked the addition. I thought Mike Budenholzer would bring a semblance of an offense, some randomness, if you will, to this offense. And that just never transpired. So yes, Kevin Durant is right. Expectations suck. It's hard. Like the Suns in 2021, their expectation was not a championship, but they ended up getting there because of some breaks. I think you have to get a little lucky, and they were just a really good team ahead of their time. In 2022, you had championship or bust expectations. The Suns were one game away from the Western Conference Finals. When you put it that way, it sounds differently. They were one game away from the Western Conference Finals. They lose in Game 7, and it is one of the most disastrous seasons in Phoenix Suns history that will be remembered. They won 64 freaking games that year. You want to know why? Do you want to know why in 2021 when they won less games, got a worse seed in the playoffs, but that season is still remembered more fondly to Suns fans? Because expectations matter. 2021, they blew your expectations out of the water. 2022, you had championship aspirations, and they, spat in your face. Suns this year have no expectations. You're just hoping they're a play-in team. You have your wildest dreams, your wildest expectations for even the most insane and, in a good way, delusional Suns fan, meaning you just support your team no matter what. You're a fan through and through. That's what I mean by delusional, not in a bad way. But the Phoenix Suns, even the most insane prediction is like, they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be the 6th seed. They would have to be 14 games better from last year to this year if all things hold true, which sometimes they don't. And so you don't have high expectations. If this team just makes the play-in, you're like, sweet, on the right track. If they win the play-in tournament, you're like, we're ahead of schedule. Expectations matter. That's why this season is going to be more fun than last year. You had at least playoff-like expectations, and they didn't get those. And I think the Phoenix Suns are already starting to feel the weight kind of lifted off their shoulders. Do you remember last year's press conferences? They were tough to watch. They were rough. People were angry. Not this year. Dillon Brooks, who I think is a leader of this team, and we'll talk about leadership in just a second, and Devin Booker seem to be having a great time. Check out this clip from yesterday's presser in China with Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker. Just tell me if the difference from last year is palpable. Check us out.
Actually, last playoffs, I noticed that you carry a Labubu by yourself. And this time you're in China, in Macau. Did you get a chance to go to those, like a store to storage those Labubu because it's still very trendy?
Yeah, I like the Labubus. I got like 4 of them. I like the trend. It's cool and it's cute.
Devin, I know you're a very trending guy. I heard you probably heard Labubu. So how do you make a comments on Darren's Labubu tips?
I'm gonna get him one for his birthday. It's coming up right now.
I think they're cute.
Who would have thought Labubus, which I didn't even know were a thing until today or yesterday, was going to be the potential savior of the Phoenix Suns season? Already, the weight is lifted off this team. The vibes are better. And guess what? That's what happens in the beginning when you're building a foundation for the next Phoenix Suns team. It starts with the players. It starts with the leadership. And the Suns have that. They've like last year, I've said this. Last year, they were just talent. That's not an identity. The Suns have dove in to what they want to be. They want to be hard-nosed. They want to be physical. They want to play defense, and they want to have Devin Booker lead them on offense. We know exactly what they are. They lose a game this year, it's probably because they played a team that's a buzzsaw or is further along in their progression than the Suns. So, yeah, the Suns, I think, will have a more... If you're a Suns fan, I think you're going to have a more enjoyable season than the Houston Rockets are going to have. Do you want to know why? Because if the Suns make the playoffs this year, let's say that if the Suns make the play-in this year as a 7 or an 8 seed, whatever, and they make it and they win the play-in, but they lose in 5 games to the 1 or 2 seed, that is a more enjoyable season than what the Houston Rockets are going to go through. Houston Rockets fans will roll their eyes and say that's not true. But talk to me in late May when the Rockets get eliminated by the Oklahoma City Thunder or they get eliminated from the Denver Nuggets, both teams who I think are better than the Rockets right now. You think those fans are going to say that season was a success if they lose in the 2nd or the 3rd round of the Western Conference playoffs? I don't think so. Because the Houston Rockets have different expectations. It's championship or bust. We have a 2-year window with Kevin Durant to win now. And guess what? If they don't accomplish that, it'll be seen as a failure. And Rockets fans will also turn on this team and they'll demand better. So, yeah, the Rockets better for sure. But it's not a bad thing that the Suns have no expectations this year. This is the fun part. It's new. It's a lively team. It's younger. The Suns sold you on this fake idea of hope years ago. And I bought into it to an extent at the beginning, and then I bought out of it. And you bought into it, whether from the beginning all the way to the end or somewhere in the middle. And they lied to you. This hope is actually you can see it. Like at this point, the Suns have the young core that you can see them develop. All of you that yell at me about Jalen Green all the time, you can see Jalen Green. You could say, I could see him develop into being a capable 2 or 3 scorer. And you know what? Like, obviously, I said this the other day. I'm like, I'm kind of buying into it. So, yeah. But here's the last thing I'll say. My last critique, call it, of Kevin Durant, and then I don't want to talk about the guy ever again. Obviously, disclaimer, not a big fan of mine. He's gone after me a few times. That's okay. I can handle it. I'm a big boy. I'll try to sleep tonight, though, thinking about it. Just hopefully I can get some shut-eye. But the Suns had expectations because Kevin Durant was on this team. And although it wasn't all Kevin Durant's fault, the Suns fell massively short of expectations. And Kevin Durant was a part of that. During the Kevin Durant era, it was championship or bust. And the Suns didn't even come close to that. They missed the play-in. So Kevin Durant wants to talk about no expectations. Listen, maybe he'd rather have that than what he's going to have this year. Championship or bust expectations, I get it. But Kevin Durant was a reason why this team fell on its head last year too. Not a main reason, not the only reason, but part of the problem. So I thought that was interesting. His little dig, which is so funny. I don't know how all the money in the world still on Twitter talking to random no-name people like me. With that being said, I didn't apologize to Jalen Green last week, but I did talk about how I'm kind of thinking differently about Jalen Green. But I'm also thinking about this. The Phoenix Suns have a clear identity of what they are. Do Jalen Green and Mark Williams kind of clash into that and mess up some things in the starting lineup? Let's talk about that next. First, today's show is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss right now to customers. You can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Man, one of the reasons why I love FanDuel, it's just fun to be able to test your sports knowledge, go up against the lines. We've been betting on the Cardinals every single week on this show, and just so we're clear, I've only been wrong once, and that was at week 1, if you're keeping track here. The Arizona Cardinals got the Green Bay Packers at home plus 6.5. Oh, man. I think I'd take the Cardinals to cover 6.5 at home. But if you want to be be safe, maybe just take the Packers to win minus 310. They win that game. You put down $5, you win $300 in bonus bets. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com visit FanDuel.com to download the app and go ahead and get started. All right, moving on to the second part of the show. I thought this was interesting, and I think it's a decent thing to kind of just keep watch over. So the Suns haven't had Jalen Green and Mark Williams to start the preseason. And one of the things, and this is not a slight on Jalen Green, this is not a slight on Mark Williams. I'll get to those in just a second. But the Suns have an identity. They're a defensive-driven team. They held the Lakers to like 83 points and like 30% shooting. The Nets were shooting 60% in the first half, could not miss. The Suns were getting up in them. They just could not miss shots in that Friday game. But then the Suns in that second half buckled down. The Nets didn't score a point for like the next 6 minutes in that game. So the Suns have they have an identity on the defensive side of the ball that I think is going to rival some of the top 10 best defenses in the NBA. But I thought about it. If the Suns were just missing Mark Williams, I'd say, okay, Oso Iguidaro is not an elite defender. He's a willing defender. He's switchable. He's laterally fine, but he's kind of a smaller guy. We're not sure if he's a 5, not sure if he's a 4. weight-wise as well, not exactly the biggest dude on the court. Okay, you swap out Mark Williams, swap out Oso Iguidaro, no harm, no foul. It's the shooting guard position that, again, gets interesting with this Suns team. So the Suns have had Grayson Allen in the starting lineup over the last couple of games. And Grayson Allen, when put next to other good defenders, is a more than capable defender in the NBA. He's a plus defender when surrounded around guys like Ryan Dunn, like Dillon Brooks, and I think Devin Booker, as Jason Tim put last week, Booker has shown the ability to get in passing lanes, be in the right spot. I wonder how much the Suns' starting lineup identity changes defensively when you take out Oso Iguidaro and put in Mark Williams, who's just a bad defender, and you pull out Grayson Allen, who's a very good defender, one put around guys like Ryan Dunn and Dillon Brooks and Devin Booker, I think, to an extent, and you put in Jalen Green, who is not as bad as Mark Williams, but is definitely a minus defender on this team. How much does it affect that? Now, if you're saying, like myself, like last week, and I take back this take, it was wrong. I kind of talked about putting Grayson Allen in the starting lineup for Devin Booker. I want to take that away, at least for the first 30 games of the season. Let's see what we have in Jalen Green, Devin Booker. But I wonder how much that changes the dynamic of this team. You have the firm foundation in Brooks and Dunn. They are not going anywhere defensively. Both elite level, I think, all NBA caliber defensive players. I think both of them have that ability. But I wonder if you take out Allen and insert Jalen Green, how much it affects that. Now, there is a plus side of that too. On the offensive side of the ball, like obviously Jalen Green is a better offensive player than Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen shoots the three ball a little bit better, but Jalen Green, as we talked about last week, someone who has to work on some of the efficiency things and get in the film room and kind of figure out a way to be a better playmaker, dishing the ball out in his drives and learning that the ball is going to come back to him at some point. But Jalen Green is a better offensive player than Grayson Allen. Efficiency-wise, from three-point land, that's not true. But everything else, I would rather have Jalen Green. His ability to get to the basket. He shoots free throws perfectly fine at 81%. And I think he is more of a threat that teams tend to game plan for. So you do add that offensive in there. You don't lose anything offensively with Grayson Allen that you don't gain with Jalen Green. The Mark Williams thing is interesting. He's a 15-10 player. Oso Iguidaro is nowhere near the offensive player as Mark Williams is. Shoots 60% from the field. He doesn't play a ton of games. I'm not starting Mark Williams. That's not what I'm doing. I just want to point out that the Suns are currently gaining chemistry in the preseason with the starting lineup that is not theirs. And I wonder how much that's going to affect them in the regular season. And the reasoning why I say that is this team has an identity of defense, defense, defense. And when you take out someone who I think is a plus defender in Grayson Allen and someone who I think can be a plus defender in Oso Iguidaro for just atrocious rim defender and defender overall Mark Williams and very so-so defender worse than Grayson Allen defender Jalen Green, how much it affects that dynamic. What are you getting back in offense that you are then losing in defense? And so I get it. It's what the lineup has to be. I just wonder how much that's going to affect this team. Mark Williams is a far superior player than Oso Iguidaro. I'm not sure how much of a drop-off that's going to be, and if Mark Williams is finally going to be more committed on the defensive end. The Jalen Green part of it is really interesting. I agree that Jalen Green needs to start, but it does feel like Grayson Allen fits a little bit better next to Devin Booker. And when you put Jalen Green in that while also substituting out Oso Iguidaro for a bad defender and Mark Williams, how is that going to affect this team as a defense? I know we want this team to be better offensively, but that's not what they're built to do right now. In the future, when they are able to find another star or someone blossoms into this star, to Devin Booker, then we'll talk about it then. but it's just something I was thinking about today. I'm really excited about this Suns team. I'm really excited about this starting lineup and what they've put together in the preseason, holding teams defensively to 30% if they're the Lakers, or, going on runs with their backbone being defense against the Brooklyn Nets and ultimately winning that game on Friday. I wonder how much that's going to disrupt the chemistry in all this. What is Jalen Green going to be able to provide defensively? If Jalen Green can be a plus defender, like that's the X factor in all this. If Jalen Green can be a plus defender, which I believe he can be because of his athleticism, because of his he is very anticipatory in the passing lanes. Can he use those two things to his advantage? That I think with Dylan Brooks and Ryan Dunn will open up a bit more. So I think that's the X factor in all this. You're putting Mark Williams in for Oso Iguidaro, and you got to see what you have in Jalen Green and Devin Booker together on the court at the same time. But can Jalen Green help pick up that slack defensively that you're losing from Grayson Allen? Because this team is not going to be a great offensive team, and that's perfectly fine. The Houston Rockets were the 2nd seed last year and not a great offensive team. Can Jalen Green help be that puzzle piece that this team is missing? I think that's something that you're looking for in this next preseason game, or at least as the season gets started, whenever we see Jalen Green play. Let's talk about Malawatch. Suns have a bit of a log jam at the center position. I think someone's going to sit, and I don't think it's Malawatch. And I don't think you're going to like my answer. And we'll do that next. Today's show is brought to you by our friends over at Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with the brand new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus powered by Peloton IQ. It's their most advanced equipment, yet designed to give you real-time guidance and endless ways to move, whether you're running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. This is training reimagined. Peloton is built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan, stay motivated, and reach peak performance. One of the reasons I love the whole idea of Peloton and Peloton IQ and Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus is, listen, I'm a lifter. I love weightlifting. I love working out. But sometimes, man, there's got to be a better alternative than, killing yourself with the weights. Not good for the joints all the time. So listen, Peloton, if I just hopped on one of those things, they have their classes. I'd be able to go and just hop on, and it's got my workout all planned for me. And so, hey, that would be something that I think is a little bit more suited towards what I need to do. So Peloton's a great thing for me. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread today at onepeloton.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks or properties or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up paying, or you could end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-use personal interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I have told you guys, I'm moving in on a house here. Like, the setup's going to change very soon. We're going into a house very soon here. Sometime next week, it'll be different. And, we're trying to cut some corners a little bit, right? Save some money. We're moving into a house. We got a bigger payment. I found out the other day, paying for Discovery Plus, paying for 2 Spotify accounts. I was paying for like Paramount Plus, things I didn't even use. Had I been using Monarch Money, I've been saving more money, longer than I probably would have had to now. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNBA at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's a 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNBA. All right, let's wrap up the show. So the Suns have a logjam at the center position. I mean, listen to some of these guys that the Suns got that I think could all potentially play this season. You got Oso Iguidaro. You got Mark Williams. Nick Richards, who we thought was going to get traded. and come on, Malawatch. The Suns are not running a 4-center lineup. And I know what you're going to say. Well, one of those guys can play power forward, Oso Iguidaro. Are you playing Oso Iguidaro over Ryan Dunn? Are you playing him over Rasheer Fleming? I don't think so. And then at that point, is he your third power forward? Come on, Malawatch. I understand the Suns want to, make the rookies earn their keep a little bit, make them earn their stripes, make them earn their spots, and that's okay. You want to start the season off with Mark Williams? That's fine. But there's kind of been a center battle going on between Oso Iguidaro and Nick Richards. And Nick Richards has just been better than Oso Iguidaro this season. Or I'm sorry, has just been better than Oso Iguidaro this preseason. I mean, I'm eating crow on that one. I like what Oso Iguidaro can provide to you offensively passing the basketball. But outside of that, what is he providing to you? And defensively, is he that much better, if not the same, as Nick Richards defensively? You traded for Mark Williams, 2 first-round picks, 2 late first-round picks, but you traded for him. He's not playing over Mark Williams. And I'm not sitting Kaman Malawatch. If Kaman Malawatch gets 10 minutes a game to start the season, that's fine. I told you guys I was wondering when Nigel Hayes was going to play on this team, along, with other players. Royce O'Neal, I think, kind of fits that mold a little bit. Guys like that, they kind of fit that mold a little bit. Where are they going to play? You got a logjam at that position. Where's Oso Iguidaro going to play? Because I need Kaman Malawatch to play. I need his defense. I need the different looks that he can add defensively. What, you want to run a, this is kind of old school, but like a 1-3-1 zone? You want to run a 2-3 zone? You want to run, whatever variations of zones you want to run? Kaman Malawatch is going to be around the rim, and he's a better rim protector at 19 years old than Oso Iguidaro is. He just is. And so if Oso Iguidaro is going to play, it's going to be at the 4. It's not going to be at the 5. And then I think about it. Well, where is he going to play? Is he going to play over Rasheer Fleming? He shouldn't. Ryan Dunn? He shouldn't. Royce O'Neal, who's probably going to play more of the 3. Nigel Hayes? He shouldn't. Maybe Oso is a part of some bigger looks when teams get big on the Suns, like the Cavs kind of have this, and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Maybe they match up Oso, but on a consistent night in, night out basis, the center rotation's got to look like Mark Williams, Nick Richards to start, with Kaman Malawatch being a close third who plays 10 minutes a night. Oso Iguidaro does not offer anything right now offensively outside of passing that the other guys don't offer. And I like Kaman Malawatch's ability to catch lobs, be more aggressive, and play better defensively. If Oso's going to play, it's going to be at the 4. It ain't going to be at the 5. And as I was looking at this roster, as we were talking about earlier with Mark Williams, I was like, someone's got to come out. And maybe the Suns do plan on playing Oso over Kaman Malawatch. I'd be emphatically against that. And I've heard people say, well, send Kaman Malawatch to the G League. The G League helps no one, guys. No first-round pick like Kaman Malawatch needs to go to the G League. I know how good he is against used car salesmen. I watched him in college. He needs to develop at the pro level. Be with pro-level coaches 24/7. Be on the road with the team. Be a pro. The center position, I just don't think is going to be, be kind to Oso Iguidaro in terms of playing time, or at least I don't think it should be. It's probably going to happen at the 4. But with that being said, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. Do me a favor, hit like, share, subscribe on the video. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I'll see you guys tomorrow night after the game, probably live from, I know it's not PHX Arena, but I can't remember the name of it. Probably live from the stadium or the arena tomorrow. So with that being said, guys, for everyone in the chat tuning in, I'm Benjamin Garcia, and it's been Locked On Phoenix Suns. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow post-game.